recording.
Yeah.
Be good to go.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Call this meeting to order. Notice of a regular meeting, May 27th, 2025 at 5 p.m. City Council Chamber, 3947 Lincoln Avenue, Groves, Texas. You'd all rise for the prayer and pledge, please.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you today for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this Grove City Council meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture those bonds of community and collective agreement. Bless us with your grace, O Lord, and give the mayor and these leaders wisdom in making good decisions that affect our city. Continue to remind us all that we do here today, all that we accomplish is the pursuit of the truth and for the greater glory of you and for the service to our community. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. Item 4. Let's see, who's doing roll call today? Is it me? Oh. Item 4 will be roll call. Mayor Bourne here. Mayor Pro Tem Canitas here. Councilmember Holmes
Here.
Councilmember Gay. Councilmember McAdams
Here.
I'd like to welcome everybody, even in the foyer out there at tonight's meeting. Item 6, reports.
Marshall Robin has a report.
Mayor and council. In light of the media post that was made earlier today, I'd like to make a report on that post. The recent public reminder issued by our department via social media regarding the operation of golf carts, ATVs, mini bikes, e-bikes, and similar vehicles on city streets was not only necessary, but it was responsible. This notice was not created in a reaction to a specific incident or a complaint in particular. Rather, it was a proactive measure intended to clarify the laws already in place under the Texas Transportation Code. We made this post to prevent confusion, most importantly, to protect the safety of our citizens, particularly our children. It is worth noting that our city does not have a local ordinance that handles or governs golf carts. We also do not maintain a golf course or any other infrastructure that would legally accommodate the routine usage of golf carts within our transportation network. As such, golf carts, ATVs, and similar non-standard vehicles are not legal on public roadways within our jurisdiction. And without such legal framework, their use on our streets constitutes a violation of state law. Summer brings warmer weather, and with it a noticeable increase in these types of vehicles, often operated by children or teenagers that have no license, they have no training, no understanding of traffic laws or codes. And while the intention and usage by these children may be innocent, the risk is not innocent. In fact, we have witnessed golf carts being operated by minors on busy residential streets, ATVs darting between intersections and driveways, mini bikes speeding down long stretches of roadway, e-bikes traveling against traffic or in unlight or dark conditions. And every one of these situations carries a serious safety risk, not just to the riders, but to motorists and pedestrians as well. Left unaddressed, these types of incidents can lead to tragedies that affect individuals and social networks for years and years to come. The purpose of our public notice today was to educate families before an incident occurs, to clarify state laws that may be misunderstood, to prevent injury or loss of life by emphasizing enforcement. And let me be clear, we will not tolerate the operation of any of these types of vehicles by underage drivers, not on our streets and not in this city. Our officers have been instructed to act with compassion, but to act with firmness. We are not trying to penalize families for items that they hold of value. We are trying to protect them. Allowing children to operate golf carts or ATVs on city streets is not an act of fun. It is a dangerous risk with legal consequences. And we owe it to every parent in this city to treat their child's safety and life as precious to act on when that life is being endangered. As peace officers, we swore to enforce the laws of this great state and the ordinances of the cities that we serve, and to protect this community to the best of our ability. And this means we do not pick and choose which laws to enforce based on popularity or based on convenience. Transparency and fairness are key to community trust. And that is why we communicated this issue publicly, clearly, and respectfully. Our job is not only to respond to danger, our job is to prevent that danger when we have the ability to do so. Our goal with this social media post and with my report tonight is not to create fear, but to inspire responsibility. If even one family listens to the words that we've shared, either via post or via this announcement, and prevents an underage child from operating a cart on our streetways or roadways, then we have done meaningful work. And that's our goal, to do meaningful work. I ask for your support in standing behind this reminder, not only as a legal necessity, but as a moral and civic duty to protect our neighbors. Thank you for your continued trust in our department and your shared commitment to safety and integrity in our city. Thank you.
Any other reports?
No, sir.
No, no, Mr. Lofton.
I want to speak.
It's not your turn, sir. It's not your turn.
We came to hear you.
It's not your turn. Please have a seat.
I'm gonna beat down bed, but we'll get it.
Good evening, my name is Ken Lofton. I'm the quartermaster-elect. Actually, I'm the commander-elect for VFW Post 4820 in Port Neches. I live at 3100 Eugenia Lane, Groves, Texas. For many people, the last Monday in May marks the unofficial start of summer, but it holds a greater significance. Memorial Day commemorates the day that brave men and women who have given their lives in the defense of our great nation. In the beginning, Memorial Day was created to beautify the graves of those who fought and died in the Civil War. We continue that tradition, excuse me, with respect and reverence. At the core of our military community lies unique things: the desire to provide selfless service and the willingness to sacrifice everything we have to defend those principles laid out by our forebears in the Constitution and the laws of this land. For those who have served in the military, Memorial Day means so much more than a barbecue. I would say that there are probably veterans here right now who have a tattoo of a friend's name and the day they died. When we say we never forget, we mean it. Those men and women who gave their lives in battle paid the ultimate price, and for that, they deserve our honor and respect. Our obligation here today, our purpose to those men and women who gave their lives for freedom is clear enough. The United States and the freedom for which it stands, for which they died, must endure and prosper. Their lives remind us that freedom is not bought at a discount. It has a heavy price. And just as they were willing to sacrifice, so too must we be willing to give of ourselves. It is up to us to use the gift of freedom provided by those who made the ultimate sacrifice to do as much good as possible and honor a debt that can never be repaid. Memorial Day is a day of both grief and reflection. Grief for the tragic loss of life, but also reflecting on the value of their service. The respect and admiration that we give our fallen warriors pay tribute to the memories and the lives that they lived. Duty, honor, country, they lived for it, and they died for it. As we honor their memory, let us pledge that their lives, their sacrifices, and their valor be remembered and revered for as long as God gives life to this great nation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Now going to move into citizen comments. At this time, I'll remind you, this is comments. It will not be a back and forth. You can state your piece, keep it respectful. But everyone who approaches that speaks, name and address, please.
Harold Alvarez, 4241 Dogwood Street. Ingram. I've been here over 40 years. My question about this golf court issue is, if you see a child operating a golf cart, that is child endangerment. Why is that child followed home and the parents talked to and told that it's child endangerment? That's the parents' fault. You're punishing people that are using golf carts to pick their kids up. Or in my case, I'm too old. I have a handicap. I can't have a car. I use my golf cart. I'm 80 years old. My wife is too. Well, she has other things she has to do, and I try not to be a hard on her. But she'll be out of town occasionally, 2 or 3, 4 days, and I'm there at the house. My kids, grandkids all work. If I need to go to the store to get something, I go by the streets that have all the stop signs with the usually not in corners. They're under 35 miles an hour. My cart won't move but 15. I'm not going to speed. But anyway, it creates a burden on people that use it for things that replace their car with. You know, and that's my only problem with it. It's like you just cut everything off for what problem. Well, you know, that's what the police are, to serve and protect. That's my feelings on that issue. And the only other thing I gotta ask about, not related to that, I want city council to put a dog park here. I want to be able to take my dog over there to the dog park. And I suggest the park right across the street from the library is not big of a. I start going down there to walk, that's another thing. I go down there to walk in that park. And it's too far for me to walk from my house. I walk every morning in the neighborhood. And by the way, in street like that kind of next to mine, there's always about 10 to 15 cars that are parked on the side of the road facing the wrong way. You know, if they go stop me for walking the wrong way on the street, watch it, they get by without, you know, other children along too. That's the only thing I say. It's punishing people that need the thing legitimately for kids. They're not doing the kids a service by not stopping them and taking them home and letting the parents know how serious that is. That's all I can say. The streets are in bad shape. And if nobody knows that, and there's some buildings that are really derelict. That one across from Market Basket, Bruce's, that old park building, that's been decaying ever since I lived here. My wife says it's been here 45 years. I guess she's right. But, that's about all I got. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I ask a question?
All right, now. Any other citizen comments?
My name's Hannah Myers. I live at 5049 Foster Avenue. And my concern is with the golf carts. On the aspect of us being able to adopt an ordinance like Midland and Fort Hays have. For the citizens that abide by the rules, I mean, I've had my golf cart right at a year. I spent well over 12 grand on my golf cart, spent almost 2 grand legalizing it 100%, which is what I was told when I called Grove Speedy on what I needed to do to have it, to be able to drive. And I was told that it had to be legalized. I had to have blinkers, I had to have lights, I had a horn, seatbelts, you know, the triangle. I had everything that I needed to have. And now I have a $8,000 golf cart sitting in my garage that I'm not gonna be able to drive anymore. I don't let my children drive it. I was talking to a gentleman a minute ago, my 14-year-old on his birthday, we let him drive. We're on Foster Road at dead end. He literally pulled out of my driveway to the circle and came back. And we were like, that's it. He's like, I don't understand. You're not legal to drive it. I understand that I'm one of those parents that don't allow my children to drive them. But at the same sense, for the ones that are abiding by the rules, following on the normal legislation that the other areas have, that we're still punished for it. I have insurance. I have everything that I need for it to be able to drive it legally. We drive it to football games. We go to school functions. We go to soccer where my kid plays. We go to football right there on Poggabone. But now I'm going to have to literally fight traffic to sit there when I bought a golf cart and I live in Groves for that reason, because it's out, it's separated. It's not, you know, big city, I guess you can call it. But now I have an $8,000 note that I have to pay on a golf cart that I'm not gonna be able to use. Literally, I can't pull it out of my driveway. And they don't resell for much, so I'm just stuck with a golf cart that we get to bring on vacation with us for 4 days out of the year. I mean, I've lived here for almost 14 years. Golf carts have never been an issue, and now all of a sudden, because there's bad seeds, everybody gets punished for it. And that's the part that shouldn't be the situation. Grove should adopt the ordinance so that way the officers can legally hold accountable for the children that are, or the parents that are allowing their children to run them up in the daggum city. Because there's been times where I've been on my golf cart, me and my wife and my 2 boys, and where we were almost hit T-bone by a whole bunch of stupid teenagers driving. That's not fair for the ones that abide. An ordinance needs to be pushed to where the officers can hold them accountable. Because until then, that's their, I mean, it's not gonna stop just because it happened. I mean, we've seen 4 of them today. I talked to my lender at the bank because I was having to get information so I can see on selling my golf cart. And she lives right up the road and she was at home today taking a call. She said, I can send videos of countless kids acting a fool, hanging off the golf carts. So like when I called this morning, the officer that I spoke to, because I called PD to ask on what this entailed to. And the officer that I talked to said that they can't pull over anybody, because if they pulled over a 10-year-old kid, then they'd have to pull over a 70-year-old kid. Well, I mean, by golly, if you see a damn 10-year-old kid driving a car, you're just gonna drive past them because they're sitting in their parents' lap. I mean, you have to have a license to operate a motor vehicle. Why can't they hold them accountable? I mean, everybody else that is abiding shouldn't be prosecuted because some parents don't give a rat's ass. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair for the ones that do what they were supposed to do and get the things that we needed to get to be punished, because there's bad eggs. Every city has bad eggs. But that's what the police is for. That's what city council's for. That's what, you know, all that is in line for, is to keep our city safe. Well, okay, so what about all the wrecks? The wrecks on the road down on Van Buren on the corner. There was 4 wrecks within the past 2 weeks where kids ended up in ditches. Cops weren't called. Parents weren't called. Neighbors hauled them out. That's not fair for the ones that are doing what they're supposed to do. And that's my piece with it. It needs to be organized where it's across the board and take away that aspect for everybody isn't fair. Thank you.
It's not supposed to be. How did you join that? Well, no. There he is. Okay. We got it. I'm not sure how he joined as a
I have a guy from the EDC that's supposed to be joining in, but he was told to mute the mic, so.
It did not. Any other citizen comments?
Regina Kelly, 4799 McKinley Avenue, Groves, Texas. I really just want to reiterate what she just said. I too have a golf cart that I paid a great amount of money for and had no idea you couldn't drive a golf cart in Groves, yet I called the Groves Police Department and was told what all I needed to have before I purchased my golf cart. And it's just a shame that we're going to be punished, yet I'm very law abiding for those that have erred, and it's crummy. So I too will be putting a golf cart up for sale and would hope that the city of Groves would pass an ordinance to let us continue to drive our golf carts. It would be nice, but I totally understand if you don't. It's just a shame that it's been abused. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments? All right.
Alfred Gorman, 6465 Cooper. Asking what the status is on repairing the houses that are.
This is not a back and forth. You can say, hey, I want to know about the houses, and maybe
Yeah,
somebody will contact you.
yeah.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can. Any other citizen comments? Last call, citizens comments. You want to speak again? This is the last time. You only get two.
I just want to say, I just thought that while ago about the kids, about the child engagement. And that is really important. That's the most important part about it. Is keep those child safe. Go home to their parents, tell them you go file charges on them, they don't get that kid time of that part. I guarantee you they'll do it. It'd be pretty stupid not to. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Last call, citizen comments. Okay. All right, we'll move on. Item number 8, deliberate and act to approve the minutes of the May 12th, 2025 city council meeting.
I make a motion, we deliberate and act to approve the minutes of May 12th, 2025 city council meeting. Also.
A motion and a second to deliberate and act to approve the minutes of the May 12th, 2025 city council meeting. Do you have any questions? No question. Vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem Canitas.
Aye.
Councilmember Holmes.
Aye.
Councilmember Gay. Councilmember McAdams.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 9 will be receive the minutes of the May 19th, 2025 planning and zoning meeting. Everyone has a copy.
I'll make a motion, we receive the minutes.
That is informational only. You just get them.
We just get them.
You just get them.
We get there, let's prove all. My bad.
Item 10 will be to hear the introduction and swearing in of the new deputy marshal. This is informational only, so Marshal Roberts, you take it over.
Mayor and council, thank y'all for this opportunity. We hope to keep this tradition going. We're going to call ourselves a community-based policing entity, that we need to know our community, and our community needs to know who we are as well. So I thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to introduce Deputy Ren Miller. Now, he's actually been with us since January. He is one of our cadets that recently graduated from the LIT Regional Police Academy back on May 16th of this year. And I'm very honored to introduce him to you tonight. I have a quick bio that I'm going to read, and a statement that he provided as well. And then if y'all have it or allow it, I'll do a swearing in. Ren joins the Groves Police Department with a strong commitment to public service and deep connection to the community. A graduate of Fort Neches Groves High School, he has maintained close ties to the Mid-County area, and he takes great pride in now serving the very community that helps shape them. Prior to entering law enforcement, Wren played a key role in managing and growing a local business in Port Neches, where he worked closely with individuals from all sorts of backgrounds. And that experience strengthened his ability to balance both empathy and sound judgment. These are skills that will help guide his path towards community policing. His background in customer-focused roles will also reinforce the importance of clear communication, fairness, and building trust. Motivated by a strong sense of duty, Wren is passionate about modern service-oriented law enforcement. Motivated by, I said that already. He maintains a focused interest in mental health response, de-escalation strategies, and narcotics enforcement. Looking ahead, his future goal is to serve as a detective where he can contribute to many meaningful investigations and the safety of the public. This is a personal statement that he submitted to me. And I quote, "This community has always felt like home. I'm honored to serve the people of Groves and look forward to building strong, respectful relationships as we work together to keep our city safe." So before the city welcomes him, I'd like to ask Deputy Wren Miller if you would raise your right hand and follow after me. I state your name.
I, Wren Miller,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of Deputy Marshal
the duties of the office of Deputy Marshal
for the city of Groves
for the city of Groves
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And I think that we can trust that you will do just that. Thank you for being a part, and if y'all would welcome him to the team.
Welcome to the city, Wren.
All right. Item number 9, or I'm sorry, item number 11, presentation of the Life Saving Award to Deputy Richard Chase Poss in recognition of his heroic actions on January 21st, 2025. This is another informational, right? Yep. And Marshall, you're back on.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I really appreciate this opportunity as well. You know, with law enforcement, a lot of it goes, it's thankless a lot of times. Sometimes when people see us, it's not at their best. Sometimes they're not happy, but we continue to do so anyway because of the oath that we swore and because of our commitment to top safety. And today I would like to honor the heroic actions of a particular individual, Deputy Richard Chase Poss. Would you join me, please? There's no such thing. I'll shake your hand. There's really no such thing as a routine anything. A lot of times in the media, we talk about routine traffic stops. A lot of times we talk about routine warning. But nothing is truly routine. And on a day like this particular day, which is particularly rare here in Groves, Texas, a day where snow has fallen and built up around the city. On Tuesday, January 21st, 2025, Deputy Richard Poss responded alone to what initially appeared to be just an accidental 911 hang-up call, routine, right? What unfolded was a high-stakes and potentially deadly situation. Upon arrival, and during an uncharacteristically icy weather, Deputy Poss immediately noticed the front door slightly ajar, and there was a frantic woman inside. This woman attempted to downplay any need for police response. However, her clothes were visibly soaked in blood. Recognizing the serious potential of harm inside this residence, and despite the icy road conditions that prevented his backup officers in responding timely, Deputy Poss maintained a calm and observant demeanor. After noticing blood splatter inside the home, he decided to enter under exigent circumstances to render aid to whoever may be injured inside the residence. And inside, he encountered a chaotic and volatile scene. A seriously injured man pleading for help, a distressed spouse, and a juvenile suspect with a knife. Despite these circumstances, Deputy Poss gave clear verbal commands and with restraint de-escalated the situation without further injury to anyone, ultimately taking the juvenile into custody and providing life-saving intervention for the injured man. Deputy Poss's professionalism, quick thinking, and courage under an extreme amount of chaos and pressure, without any doubt saved a life and prevented a potentially tragic officer-involved use of force. His actions reflect exemplary training, sound judgment, and deep commitment to public safety. It is with great respect that I submit Deputy Richard Poss for recognition of the life-saving award. Very proud of your efforts. Thank you so much for representing the true best that Groves has to offer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Poss.
Absolutely. Item number 12, be deliberate and act on approval of a replat of 5948 Carolina Avenue, legal description TR 22-A replat of lots 22 and 23, block 4, Dixie Gardens. We do need motions on this.
I'll make a motion to deliberate and act on approval of a replat of 5948 Carolina Avenue, legal description TR 22-A, replat of LTS 22 and 23 for Dixie Gardens.
Second the motion.
A motion and a second to deliberate and act on the approval of a replat of 5948 Carolina Avenue, legal description TR 22-A, replat of lots 22 and 23, block 4, Dixie Gardens. On to questions.
I made that meeting and, everything looked like it met ordinances and all guidelines.
Mr. Paccetti, any, y'all good? Or, Mr. Bakui?
Chairman of the Planning and Zoning, and I'd like to reiterate what Mr. Haynes said. Her replat meets all the requirements, whether it be square foot, setbacks, etc. And Planning and Zoning has no problems with the replat.
Okay. Don, you agree?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, no other questions, vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem Canitas.
Aye.
Councilmember Holmes.
Aye.
Councilmember Gay. Councilmember McAdams.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 13, deliberate and act to ratify the city manager's authorization of the emergency pipe bursting project for sewer main between McKinley and Roosevelt.
Make the motion to deliberate and act to ratify the city manager's authorization of the emergency pipe bursting project for sewer main between McKinley and Roosevelt.
I'll second.
A motion and a second, deliberate and act to ratify the city manager's authorization of the emergency pipe bursting project for sewer main between McKinley and Roosevelt. Do I have any questions? Mr. City Manager, is this complete?
Yes, sir, and actually Glenn is here somewhere. We'll give you a report on how it's turned out, but it is complete. Glenn will give you all the details of it.
Thanks, thank you, Mayor and City Council. Yes, we had a problem in there. We had a sinkhole. We dug up, discovered that the 10-inch concrete pipe, there was nothing at the top of it. So as we went on, we did a couple other spots, realized that that entire line between Roosevelt and McKinley was deteriorated beyond the repair. So we went out for bids on the pipe bursting, and Tumex was the where we went with the bursting. They did a very good job. They came in, they did what they said they were gonna do. Cleaned up very neatly afterwards. We had to tie in 8 different taps between houses on Roosevelt, a business right there in McKinley, and the houses that back up on Martha. Once they finished the project, everything was cleaned up properly. And as of last Friday, I think it was, they came back through and planted grass on the areas that, not in a big field out there. I mean, we had to tear a lot of trees and stuff, brush out of there, and then city employees picked that up on Friday also, so the job is completely done.
Going the business right here.
Yes, sir.
What's the name of that business?
Good question.
They were,
Right.
they were very accommodating and helped us out by giving us access through their fence and yard.
Yeah, we were able to utilize there, and which helped, they were able to go up underneath the fence where we didn't have to take it down. And then made a trench throughout to where they could push and pull. They pulled from one Roosevelt, and then they did the opposite pull coming from McKinley. That was original pictures here. This is a house on Roosevelt. Kind of show we had to locate each one of the taps. They potholed and then tied back in. The plywood was when they first started potholing to be able to get the project started. They covered everything up. The shoring boxes were in. They actually put all their pipe and stuff together. Came down McKinley, was able to utilize that parking lot and go up underneath the fence. That's just as they were pulling it through. Came down, and you see how it sloped down, entered the pipe, and then shook the ground and burst the pipe up. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Blair. Any other questions? No other questions, we'll vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem Canitas.
Aye.
Councilmember Holmes.
Aye.
Councilmember Gay. Councilmember McAdams.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 14, be deliberate and act on the May 27, 2025 invoice list.
Make the motion, we deliberate and act on the May 27, 2025 invoice list.
Second.
Motion and a second to deliberate and act on the May 27, 2025 invoice list. On the questions, Mr. Crew.
With 13 items on tonight's invoice list, first one is Kintex Environmental, $5,610 for lab charges for our TCP permit effluent testing in April. 3 for City of Port Arthur for landfill fees, $8,060, $18,060, $20,660. Grant Works for ARPA grant administration, $14,400. GFL Environmental sludge disposal, $6,614.72. ICM for replacement of the broken AC at Public Works, $9,582. Living Earth for cushion mulch at the playgrounds, $5,961.50. PBS VX for chlorine and SO2 for the wastewater plant, $12,861.60. 2 for public services. The one's sludge disposal, the other's for dumpster, $5,651.16, and then $9,738.81. Sunbelt Rental for rental of a 4-inch pump and hoses for the belt press project. $5,593.09, and then Tomex Construction for the pipe bursting project just talked about, $59,500. Grand total of $182,292.80.
Any questions?
The mulch from the playground that came out of the parks.
Yes, sir. Mhm. That's an annual expense.
Any other questions? No questions, vote on the motion. Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem Canitas.
Aye.
Councilmember Holmes.
Aye.
Councilmember Gay. Councilmember McAdams.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 15, city council will hold an executive session pursuant to the provisions of chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in section 551.071A, consultation with the attorney when the government body seeks the advice of its attorney about the pending and contemplated litigation. We will be back. We will go into executive session at 5:41. Y'all hang out. The public hearing's after this.
Recording stopped.
And this too.
Okay. Y'all, Brandon? Ready? Now reconvene back in open session at 6:12. We'll move on to council member comments. Any council member comments? Would like to welcome Ren Miller. I'm sure he's already left, and congratulate Officer Poss for representing our city. We thank you for all that you do, and we hope that Officer Miller follows in his footsteps as well. Any other council member comments? All right, we will adjourn this meeting at 6:13. We'll now move into the public hearing. Call this public hearing to order. Notice of a public hearing, May 27th, 2025. Directly following the city council meeting at 5 p.m. Yeah, we are supposed to have sheets to sign. You got the sheets, okay. Right. Notice is given. Okay, is this? No, that's not it. I don't have a. There it is. Notice is hereby given that the joint public hearing between the city council members and planning and zoning commissioners will be held on Tuesday, May 27, 2025, directly following the regular city council meeting, which begins at 5 p.m. at 3947 Lincoln Avenue. Request by a business owner for the property listed herein to consider the request from Mr. Brett Smith, granting him a specific use permit for an apartment project at 5500 39th Street, TRS 1 and 2 of E 1/2 L5 Block 6 RGE Polanco and lots 12 track 23 through 58 Ridgelawn 9.704 acres. This meeting is a joint public hearing in compliance with the specific use permit ordinance of the city of Groves. For additional information, contact Don Pedraza, building official at 409-960-5707. Under the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, this notice is hereby posted May 22nd, 2025. All right. Is Mr. Brett Smith here? Recognize Mr. Smith for making the request to council for the specific use. What do you need to make? This is a joint public hearing.
Oh, okay.
These are my rules. Mr. Smith, do you have anything to present? Do you have a presentation?
Thank you, John. Appreciate your time. Well, I'm with Grove, with the Fort Acres Grove, graduated there realty roads my whole life. So I've always wanted to see roads do good, I mean, I've always had, which is my whole life. But this has been a, it's a cancer for the last 13, 14 years from. I like to get that tore down, and build some luxury apartment, that's my goal. Think we need the housing, and will help us on our streets and everything we can have. I just think that we need to really look hard at getting rid of that and putting up some housing in the city. I've been really wanting to try to do it for the elderly. It wouldn't work, couldn't get the numbers right for it. Now I think we got something here that could really work, because they're gonna be luxury apartments, it's not gonna be, and it's financed locally, we're all here locally too that's doing it. So we're not out in New York, I'm gonna be right here. Susan's right here, John, we're out here, you can look at what they did right down the road. In the RV park, they really look nice, they're not cheap, they're really, so that's what we're gonna put there. I think it's something that we got it pretty much covered with trying to do what we wanted to do with, the house. The water there, I mean, from the old hospital, we really got a lot of things that we can work with there already. But if you have any questions, I've got a good team here. Kind of nervous right now. I didn't give it away, did I? But, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. That's the old thing. That's our new one right there. They're classic. They're real nice.
For those that don't have a flyer and stuff, can you explain to us what exactly you want to put up there? How many units?
200 units, 204. You come in on 73, you leave on 73. We won't be going into any traffic anyplace. They'll be gated, be fenced, about 8 to 10 foot fence, all around it. We'll have 24-hour security. We'll have other entities, swimming pool, maybe a weight room too, a dog park. For the elderly, because I like to put some elderly in the back, some handicap out in the back for apartments in the back. Everything's gonna be 1,000 square feet at least. We'll meet all codes that we need to have in the city. I don't know, Chris brought up one time about moving the fence on in the back a little bit, because we'll back it up to get on 73. But this is something we got that we could really do something with in the city. It'll help us for our taxes, which we need. It'll help us for our roads too, all the way around, and what it could generate in the first place for it. It's not no Section 8, no local funding, no government funding, no HUD. We can't put it, on my watch, it's gonna be no HUD. So. And really, when you look at it, HUD's only allowed like $1,000 per person, and these things are gonna be $1,700-$1,800 a unit, so. And they're luxury, I mean. So I know that's brought up that people don't worry about, but that's not an issue.
Troy, is there gonna be any infrastructure on the city that's gonna burden the city on infrastructure?
We ran the numbers, one of my concerns was the sewer line. I know that we had an issue with we had an issue with the sewer for the Lady Luck RV, but this actually goes to the north plant, the sewer line, and we got the engineers and we looked at the hospital that was there originally. It actually had a little more of a burden than this apartment's gonna have on it, according to the numbers. So it actually looks like it's not gonna hurt it as much. I understand that the hospital hasn't been up and running for a while, but according to what the design was, it's adequate for the design.
And we're in questions from council, sorry. So any other questions from council for the developer, Mr. Smith?
Mr. Smith, you said that, your entrance and exit will be there on the feeder road? off 73 or on 39th Street?
You'll be on, Feeder Road.
West Parkway.
West Park.
For Parkway, yeah. You come in that way, leave that way. Won't go in the back, boys, Brian, or nothing like that. And they're all gonna be 2 stories. They're not gonna be, we're gonna put an 8 or 10 foot fence. So we'll make sure that, way we have them lined up too, then we'll go look in the backyards too, for people. We'll have it not too close, button up to their property. We'll have it off so it can have a nice design, prettier too. We'll give some space in between there. But it will look nice, the greenery and all that, a lot better. It'll be dressed up right. We'll have a little community center, and I really like to get involved with it too, for like when we have the oven, get some in our room for dominoes, and I wanna get involved, I wanna cook with my pit there. I wanna do some things there, I just don't want it just to be an apartment. I wanna get involved with it, I'm from here, I really want this to go, I want this to be right. So with me being there, I think it's gonna make a big difference.
Chief Bill, will this give you adequate ingress and get out with perfect fun?
I haven't seen any of the drawings with the dimensions, but, whoever designed this, I'm sure if they went through with the local fire code, that it will be, just from the pictures, from looking at it, it should be more than that.
But that would be part of the review process on the plan review.
Yeah. And if it's not, we can make adjustments with them, as we go. It shouldn't be, but I didn't see anything alarming.
And just on the back roads of Boyd, Ryan and Terrell, just really for the fire use, emergency use only, so there won't be an exit there. Are coming in dumpsters, the dumpsters will come on to do 73 and leave on 73, same way. Everybody goes in that way, everybody leaves that way, so there will be no going through the down Franklin, or down Boyd, or anything of that nature to get in there. And everybody comes in through 73, everybody leaves on 73.
Since not everyone has access to I'm assuming this is the PowerPoint that you gave us up here.
Yeah, that's the numbers of what will generate.
And
Like,
Lamar, if you can help us out, the 1,700 annual city taxes, is that what we receive at this point for that?
no. That's about what we're receiving now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And then you're gonna be jumping up to a big difference.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, Mr. Smith. Working on it, one page at a time.
I'm learning to.
I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but I'm still gonna ask it. You think that's pretty close for the
Existing?
yes,
More than 7,500
is what we get?
right now.
Okay, that's just for the vacant buildings and the property that's there. Okay, with no water revenue, no wastewater, and no sales tax.
Correct.
And then on the next page, we have a luxury multifamily living, 40 million initial investment, 204 units, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, 200,000 construction costs per unit, with an estimated demolition cost with amenities of pool and dog park. For the development value, they have an estimated property tax of $240,769. We will ask that if this comes back before council, that we have some estimated values to look at. The estimated water and wastewater at right around 158,000, 159,000, with a total annual revenue of 399,417. That's what they have here. So if this comes back, I would like to see what our numbers come up with. One of my last questions is, do we foresee any cost to the city for infrastructure repair, any additional costs that could potentially come to us if this project was to be allowed? And if we shake our head yes, can we maybe highlight some of the possibilities?
Elaborate on it.
Yes, sir, please.
I would expect that there are probably some ingress egress cooperation would be required,
Is that streets text dot control, correct?
right?
So they would have to operate with text dot, not with the city.
Again, you catch me cold on some of
I
this
know.
stuff.
While
But
we work here.
exactly. But Troy's is pretty comfortable with the water sewer stuff, so I don't see that expansion being a whole lot of need or encumbered on the north plant than has existed previous. I'm not sure about ingress egress on for emergency purposes on the side or back or outward side of the boat.
Yeah, and that's the design thing, but I still don't see that being a cost to us.
I don't think there'd be any hard costs. There will be additional cost burden based on having, several hundred additional people placing demands on services.
Yes.
But in terms of hard costs for development, it's.
We don't have to build a new road to get to
Right,
it. Okay.
right.
Any other questions from council?
Is there any other plans for any other buildings other than what's in this picture?
That's it.
Nothing up front?
No,
Well, this,
not right now. Not at all. This is building apartments, that's all we can do right now. That's our goals. And I think, and we've, Jeremy's already kind of talked to, he had to say anything, Jeremy's already talked to DD7 too. That everything looks fine as we do what we're supposed to do right now. If we change anything up, well, we're not right now, we'll get back to them, but we're fine with them too, where we're at, too. With DD7.
okay. Any other questions from council? Questions from the planning and zoning commission?
I got one question, is it, you're gonna have ingress and egress, two separate? Right.
Did you say?
Kind of like how the house.
City, yeah, okay. City taxes are $1,734. So he was off about 34. Any other questions for planning and zoning? And I did attend their original meeting on this. They did an excellent job going through everything. And they really did a good job. I commend the planning and zoning for your attention to detail in that meeting. That was a good meeting to attend.
I do have a question. Does any of the structures butt up to the 5.5 foot minimum to a property line? Is there, how much of a?
No, we're gonna pull it away, we're gonna give it more room, we're gonna dress it up to look nice, I wanna butt everything up to nobody, but I wanna give y'all more room. To, I left some on a big fence there, I'm gonna pull it away a little bit.
Well, I believe that is commercial property butting up to residential, so there's a 10-foot easement
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 foot.
from everything. It's 10 foot, yes, sir. And I believe it was,
Correct.
yeah. I believe it's 10 foot.
Professional.
And 20 feet for every building on the property.
Yes, sir.
They have.
Any other questions from the planning and zoning? All right, Mr. Smith, we'll thank you for your presentation. We'll move on to the next part here. Anybody that comes up to speak will be required to sign in, state your name and address. So we can have a record. Number 5 will be any property owners within 200 feet who wish to speak in support of the request. Property owners within 200 feet who wish to speak in support of the request. Nobody out there. Last call. Okay. Property owners within 200 feet who wish to speak against the request. Within 200 feet to speak against. Okay. Number 7, citizens of Groves who wish to speak in support of the request. Any citizens who wish to speak in support of the request? Okay, oh, yes, sir. It doesn't say you have to sign in, but I will ask you your name and address.
Pardon my nervousness. My name is Mike Capadonna. I live at 2930 Terrace Avenue. I've been there about 25 years, but I've lived in Groves for most of my life. And I like it here. It's a good city. I'm just gonna state the obvious here. Things are getting tough. A simple statement. I think it's tough to ignore the opportunity to get some, what could be reasonably good revenue in for the city. It looks like a nice facility. I know Smitty's been working on it quite a bit. But it looks like a nice facility. It could be an added bonus to the city, and revenue's probably gonna look pretty good. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Captain.
you.
Any other citizens who wish to speak in support of the request? All right, any citizens who wish to speak against the request?
I don't know if this is when I'm supposed to speak up or not.
If you don't want us to build apartments, now's when you talk. Okay.
My name is Dawn Buffington. I just moved here a year ago from the big city of Atlanta, Georgia. And this is what happened.
Sorry, address, please.
Oh, 3729 Franklin Avenue. So I'm concerned what this is gonna do to the house that I just purchased a year ago. And what this, I don't see a need for luxury apartments here. But again, I've only been here a year. I don't know. Is there a calling for luxury apartments in Groves? I refer to it now lovingly as Mayberry. I love it. You know, that's what I tell all my friends now. I said, I love it. We have our walking mailman, the neighbors are all friendly. I see this is gonna be a problem, because I've been through it where I live south of Atlanta, not in Atlanta. So I've been through something like this, and it brought our property values down, not up. And we had problems with water, we had problems with sewer, because it was right across it wasn't this close. And we had problems with all that when it was built. So those are some of my first concerns. But do I need to put my name on here? So I need to.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Any other citizens who wish to speak against the request? Okay. No action will be taken at this meeting. The Planning and Zoning Commission will meet independently and submit a recommendation to the City Council. Final determination of the request will be made at a future City Council meeting. Thank you for your attendance, and we will adjourn this public hearing at 6:34. Thank you. And now we have an EDC bill. Huh? We in the city.
Not the fact section on there. I thought it was 23 or 2400.
I got it done. Now it's in there.
Hear that on Facebook. Well, I know I will. Oh, well. We'll make it.
I thought we were gonna be ready. But I gave you plenty of time. You just didn't know about it.
I'll do my best.
You
100 times 15 times 12, what I'm expecting to hear. That'd be the base bill for every.
Monk, do you have anything for me to sign? I'm assuming, I'll have to sign the minutes and everything with the residents back. Okay, all right.
You gonna check for firm?
Thank you.
I noticed. Hey, this is not about growth, this is, I guess you see, you're no weeks out.
Yes, sir, Mike. Good to see you again. Kevin,
How are you?
Good to see you.
I got my over here. That's not even very long. Yeah. So everybody put it up there and you put exhibit B on this.
What, you canceled the bench ceremony? I didn't get a notification.
It was on Facebook.
I'm trying to stay away from.
You showed up. Don't tell me you showed us.
No, you're right.
Okay, thank you.
Plus I was out of town.
Yeah.
What do they want to do? And they
I'll introduce myself. Good to see manager for us. That's what everybody remembers. Yeah. My name. They look at me and go. So recovering city man. Yes. So I consult now. I started with consulting business, and so I've looked at cities primarily in central and south coast. So where do you live? Bowman. Yeah, after Harvey, we lived through Harvey, and had 2 feet of water in our house. Yep. Alas. We don't have water. We had to. Does it even? Oh, yeah. I'll call you one day, if you don't mind, let's go have lunch. I don't have any on me, but I'll get it. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry. Good to meet you. Okay. Now let's go. Obviously, yeah, y'all need somebody.
Yes, sir. Hanging around, trying not to cross the path.
Oh, no, you're not blocking my path. Somebody else, you sad about it. You scared of it. Oh, but I'll get some another home. Well, that's right. Long enough now.
I know, so yeah, I'll see my back.
We know that. Not as they're. They don't, you know, they don't be able to say.
Yeah, probably I'm gonna get.
Mondays.
Okay, so.
If I knew exactly.
If we did that, hopefully we'll set that tonight. That your first or third, or something, whatever you're done. Yeah, their version of whatever being coming on. That's all good this year. Yes. Yeah. All right, where's the pizza? Let me get Lance. Let's see if we can just roll. Where's the pizza? Pizza.
I started getting hungry, got halfway through the council meeting.
I'm thirsty. I'm gonna drink the mayor's water.
You see. I even held up on coming because I didn't see it gonna happen.
Okay.
So. How are you?
I don't know. I don't know what to do. No.
I'm in see. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, I was gonna tell you, I'm gonna try to plan a financial seminar. June is, senior financial education month. Okay. And it's big on my heart. And,
Myself,
you know, the stands that go out, they all
Yes.
see things like that, and too many people hurt. So I'm gonna have a little workshop with First Financial, whatever, probably the last week of June.
Okay. Yeah, holler at me. You know who else would be big on that is, Judge Sinette. Yes, he did that thing in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there.
So,
And I know he would do that.
need anything from him.
Yeah, but they're good, they have a real good program, talking about the scams, and, I mean, there's new ones like free money. Yeah, so, and he did that at home, but he worked with him too.
Yes.
So, we may do the same thing, it's the core of who's available, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, just let me.
whether it's their team or just one person on this team. But I'll get with you on a date.
Oh, yeah. Sit up here, do I?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Can you take it?
Right here. I was gonna sit there, but I think she bites.
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
That's the reason why I said, well,
There you are.
here.
I'm sorry about my migraine last month. It's
Hey, are you still here? Tell me how to get the speakerphone thing working.
He's right there. Okay, right here, you should be able to turn on audio. That's off, that's on.
Okay, can he hear us?
Can you hear us? I can hear you. Okay, we need to bring the volume up.
Okay, we've got it. Okay, I think we're good.
Somebody texted the speakers on.
Okay, well,
Must be able to hear you.
that's fine.
I'm gonna.
We just need to get-
100%, so I don't know why we can't hear him.
I don't know how to rig it to this. It doesn't even look like it has power. Ooh.
Okay, can you hear, can you say something? No, can't hear you.
Is you still on?
No, it's, maybe, let me see. Okay, let me unmute him.
Lane may need to turn his mic on.
You need to unmute.
Yeah.
You're muted. Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm probably about to have to hang up. I didn't know it was gonna go this long.
And just to address the issue with the member on the Zoom call, he is able to, participate in the discussion, but he's not allowed to vote. So everybody understands that. So he can't make motions or vote yay or nay or anything during the discussion. All right, Madam President, if you're ready to call, I
They
know
have me hooked up now.
Huh?
They have me hooked up.
Well.
They can hear me.
Conversation.
okay.
Tell them.
I'll call the meeting to order, and during that time, we ask that any other outside discussions be eliminated, please. So at 6:45, I called the meeting to order. And we'll start with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Do we have anyone that wants to volunteer to do the prayer today? Okay, please. Just plan, please.
Dear Lord Jesus, God, thank you for this group of people that have come together to do the work for City of Groves. God, we thank you that you've blessed our city. And we thank you, Lord, that you will give this board and its members and the team members and other influences wisdom that we need to make the right decisions regarding the city and its citizens and its businesses and whatever else we need to see over. Let us all these things in your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we'll do a roll call.
Mr. House.
Here.
Ms. Tice.
Here.
Mr. Gillespie. Here. Mr. Lofton.
Here.
Mr. Gary. Here. Mr. Hallett.
Mr. Hallett.
Ms. Hoyt,
Here,
you did again?
I don't see him.
He was here. I'm gonna mark him present. Assuming he comes back to the camera.
I thought he said he was about to hang up because he didn't know it was gonna last this long. So I could have disturbed it.
Is this camera still on?
I don't see it.
Okay, I'll mark him absent and maybe he'll return at some point.
I don't see him here and he's not speaking out.
Okay, well, he did send me some issues he wants to address, so I'll do my best to cover for him.
Okay.
Alright,
We want to welcome any guests and media that we might have. And now at this time, we'll accept the reports from the director.
All right, so you'll have two things in your normal agenda packet. You'll have the reports that will have all the graphs and list of expenditures and revenues listed out. Those are the things that we've been doing routinely in the past to kind of give an idea where we see sales tax headed, as well as what the EDC budget is year to date. But the other package, which the city manager is kind enough to share, is a quick evaluation. That's in the second packet that you'll find at your seat. It has a little more detail into what generates the sales tax in the city of Groves, as well as some good history and some trends to evaluate on a much more detailed basis than my one generic chart capturing just the sales tax. It basically breaks it down by industry, as well as some comparisons to the other cities. Some very good information in here. I don't expect y'all to be experts within the next 30 seconds. So please let me know if you have any questions once you have a chance to review it in more in depth. The only one I would ask you to be sure to review is take a look at this one. And this compares the Groves to the other cities, taxing entities in the local area. It's very interesting. On your copy, gray is not good. Yeah, it should be the second to the last sheet.
In the original, that's gray is red.
There's some interesting trends in there.
For other cities.
Nobody talks about Walmart for we've had, Grove has been fortunate. We've been very successful with our sales tax. We are still positive. It's not as strong a positive, but positive is still good. If you'll take a look at Orange, you'll see a precipitous drop in the fall of last year. They had those two plants shut down over there, and that's probably a lot of that number is generated by that. Don't know for sure, but it's an educated guess. That's what we took to avoid. Again, I know this is new to y'all. So please take the time to review this. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Be happy to go over it in more detail with each and every one of you if you'd like. That's the basic economics. We just had a public hearing about a proposed apartment complex coming into the old hospital property. That has a lot of potential. Excited to see something happening with that property. In the last 15 years, we finally have some.
I don't know, how long has that been?
Wow. I want to say 12 years they shut it down.
I moved back going on 12 years ago and it was closed when I came in.
Oh, 13.
And
I'm new to Groves, I'm 4 years here, so.
It's been longer than that.
I didn't know how long it had been done.
It was still here. This is my 16th year, going into my 16th year. It was open for like 2 or 3 years after I got here, and it was struggling.
Yeah,
And they just didn't make it.
I was actually glad to see the dumpster sitting up there.
So that brings a lot of potential, not just for property values for the city, but those people are gonna have to eat and drink and buy groceries and stuff in the assumed area around where they're residing. So that would help the sales tax a lot. But either way, it's good to see movement regardless. That's gonna be a plus as long as something gets changed.
Yes, absolutely.
The other item we usually discuss are new businesses or any type of changing of businesses in the area.
I don't have anything that concrete on anything actually new coming in per se, or anybody that is, requested chamber membership or even heard through the grapevine. As I reported before, Bailey and Bakery is extending, and we're happy about that. I went down and visited the businesses down there last week, and things, and there's chatter, there's talk, but I having nothing concrete that I could actually say, oh, this business is definitely coming in. And I think we're challenged a little bit on that at this time, with businesses coming in right now. And that's, things that we're working on, and having extravaganzas and things like that to promote people coming in and seeing what we have available for rent or to purchase as far as new businesses.
CarStar did have their grand opening, and I wasn't able to attend, but
It was
who did
nice.
attend, it was rather impressive.
It was nice. It was very nice. It was catered. They took us a tour, very impressive what they have going on down there. I mean, if I was just, a normal everyday citizen, which I am, but I mean, that hadn't been in there, I would go in there and just ask them to tour it, because it was fun to see what they have going on down there. And they set the bar high. And, it's nice to have people that were thorough and complete and care about what they do.
Is that part of the?
They were in Energy Town and Country. They're their own. Yeah, and that's why it says CarStar Port Arthur, because that was in Port Arthur, but they are located in Groves, and they actually have the Take 5 oil change. That's part of their entity as well.
That's all I got.
Next, we need to deliberate and act to approve the minutes of the March 24th, 2025 GEDC meeting. We'll need a motion.
I move that we deliberate and act to approve the minutes of the meeting of March 24th, 2025 GEDC meeting.
Second. We got a motion and a second. So I will take a record vote.
Are there any
Yeah.
questions?
Any questions about the minutes? Comments? No questions? All right, now we'll take a record vote. Mr. Gillespie? Mr. Gary?
Aye.
Ms. Hoyt?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Mr. Lofton?
Aye.
Ms. Karen?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, now we need a motion to, and a second to deliberate and act on awarding a GEDC grant reimbursement to Texas Proud H2O located at 6169 32nd Street for advertising. I will let you know that he was here, and he had another meeting he had to go to, but he was present. So we're free to discuss and
Let's make the motion first.
make a motion. Yeah.
I'd like to deliberate and act on awarding a GEDC grant reimbursement to Texas Power and Sewer located at 6169 32nd Street for advertising.
So, okay. Any questions or comments on here? We did ask him if the caps that he was asking for were for purchase or if they were being distributed free, and they are being distributed free.
Where on the application did it say, did it specify what the request was going to be used for? I do see that it was, promotional item under advertising.
Well, that's understandable, but he showed us a receipt for $1,200 and something, and his request is for.
We
He has
two
two,
of them.
he has two of them.
Oh, I'm missing this the other one.
One of them is for $1,008 and $156.
Mhm.
And then the other one is for $1,152. He had two of them. And adding it up, the taxes are taken out of, that's what it comes to, is the 2316.
16.
So we can't pay for the time, we can't pay taxes.
No.
We can just pay for the items as goods.
So my first question is, it says that they have to pay that same amount. In other words, it's a matching grant, right?
It's a reimbursement for the cost of whatever, depending on the category of grant. This one is 100% reimbursable,
Okay,
up to.
so they don't have to match that.
No, sir. No, this is gonna be fully reimbursed.
Awesome.
Any more questions or comments on that? Do we have a motion and a second, please? All right, we are, well, we are too. We need to take the vote. I'm sorry. We need to take your vote. Mr. Gillespie? Gary? Ms. Hoyt?
Aye.
Myself? Aye. Mr. Lofton?
Aye.
Ms. Karen?
Aye.
Motion passed.
May I ask a question? I'm sorry, how much did you say it was reimbursable up to?
2,500.
Okay, thank you.
Now we are at the point to deliberate and act on electing a GEDC officers until the end of the fiscal year of September 2025.
Make a motion to deliberate and act on electing GEDC officers until the end of fiscal year September 2025.
I'll second.
We have a motion and second.
Okay, part of the bylaws require that we elect officers for the GEDC amongst the board members. This would only be effective until September. And then the bylaws say that's when we are to have the next election for the following fiscal year, not for October through September is the fiscal year. Officers are appointed for, in this case, 4 months, but it'd be a 12-month appointment as of October. The officers are allowed to be reappointed for one additional term in that office, and then it rotates. At this time, Ms. Knaus was appointed or elected president at the last meeting with the previous board members. So arguably her term is still in force, but at this point, it's up to the board to decide who they'd like to nominate for the other positions, vice president, secretary, treasurer. This, make sure I don't have it in front of me. I believe that the president and the secretary are limited to, those are the only positions they can have. One person can be appointed to both vice president and treasurer as the board sees fit. So, with that being said,
Are we open for
let me
nominations?
see. Mr. Hallett indicated, can we start with treasurer? Mr. Hallett indicated an interest in applying for the treasurer role.
I'm also interested in the treasury position as well, so
the treasurer position, I guess the easiest way to describe it will be working with me. We'll go over the monthly expenses and monthly revenues, sales tax. You'll get a sneak peek of the financials before we send it out, with able to ask questions or edits or whatever would go along with that. And any additional information you see fit to offer or request. that's how I envision the treasurer. It's not like you're gonna be keeping the books or doing the checkbooks. So you'll be able to review the work I do on that. So, that point, that's the board. Y'all can, make your nominations and vote.
Well, we have two people that is, requested or interested in that position. I, until recently, I knew of Mr. Lyon, Mr. Howlett. No, he hasn't come back, asking for it, but, Chad and I had conversations and talked about different things, and so my nomination would be for Chad Garrett. Mine would be for Tim.
Chad.
Chad.
Mr. Malcolm?
I have no comment.
Okay.
This time.
Congratulations, Mr. Garrett. All right, next position I would suggest to be the vice president. That's again, it's one person can hold both for individual. This person would be responsible for billing for the president in her absence, his absence or their absence. And that's pretty much all that there is really required of this position. It can be as much as or as little as you want it to be, but that's all that's really required with the vice president. If I want to offer their services. Nominate.
I would like to make a nomination for, to nominate Karen Tice. I think her experience being on council before and within the community. And it's something that she could do with her time constraints, with work and catering and all the love she shows to grow. So.
I'll second that.
I'll nominate Karen also.
There's my vote as well.
I agree.
All right. Secretary is the next position, who would get the help with documenting the minutes and reviewing the minutes, and I think they're all and any other type of stuff that goes with in that line. But mainly the minutes is the biggest part of that. And obviously, I'll be handling the lion's share, but I would like someone to absolutely double check everything I put in.
Anybody interested?
I may be interested.
No fence riders, no fence riders.
That's right. I'm double checking you, but are you double checking me? Like, is it
We'll
double
double check each
accountability?
other. It's a partnership.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Ideally, you're the one who's taking these minutes.
Got it.
And then I'll be keeping my own set. Make sure.
Got it. I think I can handle
Well, they're recorded also, I think.
Yes, that helps.
Yeah.
That
That
A lot.
You
A
know,
lot.
watch that.
that. Yeah.
A whole lot.
All right, I
Yeah.
nominate Melissa Hoyt.
Second.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Congratulations. All right. That takes care of the officers as I see it, until September. And then we'll have another, election until, or starting as of October.
I do have one question. It was mentioned in the last meeting that if we saw fit to create another position within,
We can do that.
We could do that, but it can be done at any time.
That's correct. These are the ones that are required by the bylaw. You want to do additional ones.
We can talk about that as a-
Such as parliamentarian, sergeant at arms, things like that. is what you're saying.
Sergeant at arms, so yeah, you can escort people out or whatever history has taught us.
We don't have that problem anymore.
Thank you.
We won't,
No.
we won't have that.
Moving on. Petcase.
Thank you.
Actually, the next, when we start talking about the workshop, that might be something we want to talk about. Temporary position. 3.
Yeah.
But, okay, so, as I show the slate of officers, I have Ms. Canals as the president, Ms. Tice as vice president, Ms. Hoyt as secretary, and Mr. Gary as treasurer. the slate of officers that's presented, I would suggest that's what the board vote for. So if someone wants to, Mr. Lofton, if you would amend your motion to capture the slate, I'll help you if you'd like.
I would like to amend my motion to. What was that?
Number 10.
Okay. Deliberate and act on electing the GEDC officers until the end of fiscal year September 25.
President Niskanous.
To include the election of
Niskanous as president,
Mrs. Canals as president.
Tice as vice president.
I can't hear you, sir. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Ms. Tice.
Ms. Tice is vice president,
Ms. Hoyt
Ms. Hoyt
as secretary,
as secretary,
Mr. Gary as
Mr.
treasurer.
Gary as. say again?
Treasurer.
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 So what is your second?
I am in my second.
Perfect. Okay. Now take the vote.
Mr. Gillespie,
Aye.
Mr. Gary, Ms. Hoyt,
Aye.
myself, I, Mr. Lofton,
Aye.
Ms. Tice.
Aye.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Look forward to working with all of y'all. Appreciate the help as well.
It's a
Glad to have
pleasure.
y'all.
It's a pleasure.
Believe me, glad to have y'all. Deliberate and act on setting, we're now deliberating and acting, will act on setting a normal meeting time and date for the GEDC board. Do we need a motion?
I make a motion that we deliberate and act on setting a normal meeting time and date for the GEDC board. I'll second.
Okay. Any, I know that Mr. Howlett has, suggested first Mondays at 6 o'clock.
We would have the meetings here in the council chambers. Council has second and fourth Monday meetings as their regular meetings. So has to get away from being at their pleasure of how long their meetings go. We can set definite time and date for our meetings. It doesn't have to be Mondays. It's optional for any dates y'all see fit to.
Brandon, does that affect you anymore? You know, it was convenient when it was on the same night and that was going in, but I'm willing to be flexible. If the consensus is y'all wanna do it the night, you know, I'll do that.
Yeah, my concern was with yourself as well, because I thought you lived in Beaumont, but then I
No.
realized you live in Nederland,
Yeah, it's
so.
not terrible. I mostly can make it over.
Well, I know your schedule, being an attorney gets hectic, so that's the reason why I was asking if it's okay, if Monday sounds okay for you.
I think that would work. Yes, sir.
Is everybody good with that?
I think it'd be better than trying to follow.
Yes,
Is that
yeah,
possible?
and
Not to be rude, guys.
I have brought this up before at with previous board, and because it was city council, of course, everybody wanted to stay on that night.
Brandon, if it does create a problem with you, let us know, please.
Okay,
So first Mondays at 6, at
Yes.
5, at 2,
I like
at 6.
at 6.
I like 6.
Okay.
Need to take a vote?
Need Ms. Hoyt to amend her motion.
Oh,
Yes.
I amend the motion to deliberate and act on setting a normal meeting time and date for the GEDC board to include the first Monday of the month at 6 p.m.
Good job.
And Ms. Tice, if you second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Now we can vote. Mr. Gillespie?
Aye.
Mr. Gary?
Aye.
Ms. Hoyt?
Aye.
Myself, I, Mr. Law,
Aye.
Ms. Tice. Okay, motion passes.
A question. Do you want the next meeting to be next week, or do you want to go?
We might cancel the next meeting for
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no reason to meet that tonight.
But I'll post that.
So the first meeting would be July 7th.
I don't have a calendar, but I would trust that as
Set next and then.
I may be on vacation. We'll see.
Well, then we can have it wherever you want,
Yeah, sure. Y'all come to the camp with me.
right on.
Yeah, it would be July 7th.
Get ready for
After July 4th weekend.
But I may not, we may not go, so we'll see. Might be on.
And there's
Shut
nothing
down.
limited to those dates, those
Yeah.
that'd just be our regular scheduled meeting, we would have a special. That,
If you don't like it, you ain't ready.
Well, if the next thing passes and we decide to do it at that date, I'd like to be here, but. But, our next item is, deliberate and act, not the next one, but another one. Deliberate and act on the GEDC Director and President attending annual training in Houston in November. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to deliberate and act on the GEC Director and President attending annual training in Houston in November.
Second. All right, any comments? Any questions?
I am required to take an annual training, part of being the director, whoever is the director, whether it's me, or whoever comes after me. Is required to do an annual training for, with EDC rules and regs. And with this last legislature, who knows what's been changed. This is scheduled to be, in Houston, it's a 1-day deal, it's a day trip. It's a $225 fee. I don't intend on spending the night. But it's in November, I think. I attached schedule of the various states. Any board members welcome to attend as well if the board approves the expenditure, or if they want to go just on their own nickel, there's nothing limited to y'all. You might want to talk about, that will cover the training, but during the next item, when we talk about items for the proposed upcoming workshop, we want to talk about having some training in-house regardless. But as far as complying with state law, the listed dates and locations, although that virtual course, I think is still a 1-day, I don't think it's a 15-day virtual course in December. I just think they offer it at various times. And I don't want to go to Lubbock. Love Lubbock, but I don't want to go there. Richardson, either one. But we still need the EDC to authorize that expenditure. It does cost to pay for it upfront, and we'd like to do it early before it fills up.
Do they have breakout meetings or is it just one big meeting for everybody?
It's one big meeting for everybody. I went to the one in Tyler last year, and it's just one big, you know. And a lot of these people have been doing this for so long, they all know each other anyway, so it's like a class reunion at times. But they do cover a lot of good stuff, and they don't have a whole lot of breakout sessions. They do have annual conferences and mid-year conferences, which would have more of the specific breakout items that you'd probably be curious about. And I'll be happy to send you that information, but I'll just tell you right now that TEDC, I think they got the website somewhere down here at the bottom, texasedc.org. They got all this information. This is a great resource.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
I'm probably gonna go to it.
Sure. Well, the only reason I'm saying is if you see to pay your way, then it has to be.
That way, at the last minute, if I can't go, I don't have to worry about it.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll probably, on Friday, I'll probably go.
You can register online, it's pretty easy. But if, but I'm asking EDC to pay for my admission, that's why we have to get this done up front. And I don't want to be too presumptuous about the presidential election in September for the October. But whoever's president come October would be the person I would suggest, because I may not be here, and that person technically needs to be familiar with some of the rules as far as moderating when it gets what occurs during the meetings. And the attorneys always.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Okay, so we'll take a vote. Mr. Gillespie?
Aye.
Mr. Gary?
Aye.
Ms. White? Aye. Myself? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we'll deliberate and act on setting a time and date for a workshop to discuss grant guidelines, applications, and board trainings.
Brandon, does this actually need a motion? Just more for discussion item?
There's action.
Okay.
Act, I would say motion for that.
Okay.
Make a motion to deliberate and act on setting a time and date for a workshop to discuss grant guidelines, applications, or trainings.
During the last workshop, we tried to cover a lot, and we still have a lot to cover. But some of the things that were discussed is updating the grant guidelines for the current and potentially upcoming year. Or at least get started on that and updating, the forms that are associated with that. What I would hope and ask is that if anybody wants to help, I would love to have a workshop so we can brainstorm some of these ideas and things that we would look to do and have someone help draft the revised grant guidelines and application form. Doesn't have to be an officer. This would be one of those temporary positions. But we do need to set, if that is, if the board is interested in doing that, this would be a deeper dive into the grants, what is eligible, what isn't eligible, how the reimbursements are decided upon, or if it's 100% or a 40% caps and stuff like that, and how they fit within the bylaws as they are structured. We can amend within that window. If we want to amend the bylaws, that's a little bit more of an involved process. So probably will take more than one workshop to address. But this would just be tightening or broadening the rules as far as the grants are available right now. And so this would be a chance to just openly discuss just the grants and what we can and cannot do. We also talked about having the director of, wherever I just put that sheet, the TEDC of this guy, Mr. Schwab, come down. I can reach out to him and get an update. If the board during the workshop indicates that's what they want to do, I can reach out to him and get a cost. Last year it was $1,500 plus expenses to come present. And if that's something the board is, I have no problem reaching out to him to see what his cost would be again. The idea would be maybe reach out to other EDCs and share the costs with them. These are some of the things we can discuss, not just of his availability, but dates that they work as well. And that'd be discussed at the workshop.
So these would be two separate workshops, one with.
Well, one workshop, but these would be two items to be discussed at that workshop.
How long does this workshop typically last? The one that we would.
It depends on y'all. It can last as long or as short as y'all want to go.
Is it normally on a weekend day or?
Oh, no, it's just, it's like we did last time, just pick a date and a time and try to knock it out. And, as long as we know, we put it on our calendars, that's the idea. So I would suggest, 2 weeks, or so what would be the third Monday? That'd be the 21st.
Yeah, because the 15th that week, I will be in
Well, again, check your calendars
Denton
and
for
see
the
if there's a
Texas
date that works best for y'all. The 21st, the
Executive.
third Monday. I'm just trying to split the difference between.
Yeah, the third Monday's good. That part, that 15th, I'm at the Texas Executive Directors Chambers.
Would this be something that we want to try to get in before that?
This is setting the
This,
workshop.
that meeting is for chamber directors that I'm talking about.
Well, I'm sorry.
Nothing.
July 7th. I'm drawing up.
July 7th would be the next.
That'd be the next regular. So we'd like to have this workshop before the next meeting.
Yeah.
So at that next official meeting, we can present, hey, here's the revised forms. Y'all vote on that.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was thinking.
Sorry.
So June 21st week.
So June 16th is, a few more days away, the 23rd.
Yeah, I
June
won't, I
16th
can't
is
be,
the-
I can't be here that week. That's what I'm trying to say.
that would be the city council meeting date. Would be at risk for their running long.
Then what's the one after that?
The 30th, what's the fifth one then?
Yeah, if we did it the 30th, we'd have
Back to backs.
back-to-backs if we do not move that second meeting.
And again, we don't have to have it on the Monday.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, we could have it another day of the week.
You can have it on Tuesday if that's
Yeah,
a better day for.
well, the fourth Tuesday is my chamber board meeting, so that I couldn't do it on the fourth, but then any of the other ones I could.
About 2 weeks from today.
Brandon need to be at the workshop?
He's welcome to be, I don't think,
I probably plan to be, and those would be fine dates.
So what's the second?
The 10th, yeah.
June 10th will be 2 weeks from today, and that's Tuesday.
That's-
Chance to get that stuff knocked out, and then next week.
So that's not the workshop.
at 6 o'clock.
June 10th is about.
Sounds good to me.
PM?
How long do you think it's gonna take to get all of these documents revised?
And on how
I'm
much
just saying,
editing
if
we
it's
wanna
gonna
do, I
take
mean,
a
I
long
can do it.
time,
I can do them pretty quick once I have an idea, as long as we know what we want. It's when I have to guess that it can take a little longer.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think I have to be at every meeting, but these ones that we're developing and working on these kinds of projects on, I definitely would like to be there.
I don't see this workshop being a complete revolution on the grants. I see it just as
Tweaking
more
it.
a tweaking, editing function.
Yeah.
Than changing everything up. We can do these anytime we want and kind of evolve into where we would like to see it head. So, I think trying to get that all done in one workshop would be a little too
Brutal.
much.
Yeah.
But as we get more familiar with this function and the rules and regs that we're working within, we can keep having these and keep making these revisions. It doesn't have to be an annual, it can be a quarterly or a semi-annual, however you'd like to do it. It's just, this would be the first step as far as going down that path. I know there's one item, car wrap is.
That we need to
really the
talk
only
about.
one that's kind of,
And- And the cameras,
And-
whether we're gonna do outside cameras or inside.
right. So there's a couple of three in the banana sign or.
Oh, those little banana, banners
Yes,
that
yeah.
do like this.
But anyway, those can be all discussed as far as at the workshop, then,
Right.
but those are just a couple of items.
Have you already sent us all that information, how the grants?
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That orders all that.
So basically what you can do is take that and circle the items like that we just talked about, and then you're kind of up to date on kind of what we might wanna rethink.
Sure.
That's all.
Yeah.
We don't have to reinvent the whole thing.
Right, that's what I was thinking. We can just look over what we want, what's already there
Mhm.
and.
And we're
tweak
just
it a
going
little
on
bit,
things
but
that we've,
hopefully it won't be that big, you know.
yeah, those are the things, the items, I would say, and this is a guess, we could do it in an hour, but, it'd be a pretty good, guess at that. And these items are things that have come up in this past year and these last few months that we really want to probably tweak. You know, there was a discussion, a fine line between whether we were gonna pay for outside cameras or inside cameras. And then it's come up about those little waving banners, if those count. And then the wraps have become a really popular question recently from several different entities. And so those are three things that we do want to talk about.
So you're talking about the wraps on one of these.
A vehicle, like if we're gonna pay for the wraps. The thing about, think about that is real quick, and I'll tell you, is, okay, right now as it stands, when people put permanent signs or fixtures up, they stay with that building or that entity. But a car, you know, if they decide they're gonna move on and do something else and that wrap comes off, we can't repo that. So that's just something to think about. You know, do we wanna do that? Do we wanna fund that or not? So,
The concept is we want to do things to, not just help the business owner, but help the actual exterior of the facilities or the safety for that matter as well. But generally, the physical exterior of the facilities is what we were looking to try to encourage improvement upon. Whether it's paint or other facades. But either way, Mr. Gary, if you want to amend your motion for Tuesday, June 10th for the workshop.
All right, I'll amend my motion to, something back on setting a time and date workshop to discuss right now. Guidelines, applications for trainings, date for Tuesday, June 10th, 6 p.m.
Second. Take a record vote. Mr. Gillespie.
Aye.
Mr. Garrett.
Aye.
Ms. Hoyt. Aye. I vote aye. Mr. Lofton.
Aye.
Ms. Tice. Okay. Motion passes. All right. We're in here and deliberate on council member comments. It says council member, but board member comments.
It's gonna be easy.
All right.
Okay. All right. Then we will adjourn the meeting at 7:27.